This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's Worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Ward.
And I'm Michelle St. Clair.
And tonight we are watching 50 Shades Freed. Anastasia and Christian get married, but Jack Hyde continues to threaten their relationship. Let's watch. Fuck, it's a hot day.
I mean, now that we live in Melbourne, I feel like since we moved, because when we moved, it was Feb, really. It was just getting cooler and cooler. This is the first time it's getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah, Melbourne summer still confused me though, because like the other night it was like fucking freezing. It was like 9 degrees, and then today it's 35 degrees, and it might plunge back down to 9 degrees tonight. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's cold. We've been in Melbourne for 10 months.
Yeah.
10 months.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
It's silly.
We spent how many months of it in lockdown?
The majority of the months.
I feel like we spent 8 of them in lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I still feel so fresh here. And now things are opening up again. I went to a club on the weekend.
Yeah.
We all went to a club on the weekend.
Yeah. And I didn't even have a panic attack.
You didn't. So proud of you. Like, it was so wild I hadn't had that experience in 9 months. Last time I set foot into a club was probably with you. No. It was in Collingwood, but a different club, and you weren't there.
Last time I did was Birdcage leaving Sly Fox.
Yeah, in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a time. God, I've missed going out. Like, I enjoy cooked nights out that escalate and go forever, and you take too many drugs and you do too many questionable things. I love those nights.
I love the first bit of those nights where you're still like moderately buzzed, and then you go out for a bit, and then you go home. I love that. That's my favorite kind.
As we were saying, I love when you're getting ready for a night out and you're getting dressed and you're trying on things, and like you're so hopeful because you're like, anything could happen tonight. I could meet anyone, I could do anything, I could end up anywhere. It's so exciting.
See, we definitely take something different out of that, because I like that, because I'm like, I'm hanging out with my friends and we're all excited, so we're in a good mood, and we're at home, so I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic.
As we keep joking, last year's routine was that we would get ready to go out, would invite over friends, we'd hang out, have drinks, eat stuff, get ready, and then I would go out with our friends and you would go to bed. And it was the ideal routine for both of us.
Really just quite wonderful.
No, it was good. You know, when I was out, this guy, because I was with a bunch of people until like early morning, this guy said that I was good at storytelling, which is like a fucking relief.
Yeah,
because
one would hope. I
want to be a storyteller. But when we were sitting on this balcony at like 6 a.m, I was recounting one of my favorite like true crime stories in Australia. And he, at the end of the night, he was like, "Thank you for all the stories. You're an incredible storyteller. You're very like articulate and blah, blah, blah." It was really nice. I feel like, do you have a bag full of stories that you have ready for social events, or do you just like, is that not how you operate? Because whilst I love being a good storyteller, it's also because I have a lot of stories ready to tell.
I know there's some stories, I in particular tend to go for the ones that are me doing something embarrassing, if not just because those are also the ones that my friends encourage me to tell other people when I meet them.
Embarrassing stories are also great.
So many people know about me shitting my pants on multiple occasions.
So many people know about me pissing straight up a wall.
Yeah. These are great stories.
These are wonderful stories.
I feel like I've been able to hone in those stories a lot. I feel like I'm 50-50 on my storytelling. Like I feel like if I tell a story, I can tell a good one and like make it engaging, or I get stuttery and rambly and lose the attention of everyone involved really quite quickly, and then I stop talking and nobody really notices. And I'm kind of sad about it, but I'm mostly really thankful because I don't have to awkwardly bow out of telling the story.
I can't stop thinking about this. My lovely friend from uni, Daniel, shout out to Daniel, one time mentioned that like I am a good storyteller and I like telling stories in social events, but I also do it to control the conversation, and I often do it when I want to deflect from what we're talking about, or I'm bored of it. And I was like, and he was like, "No, it's good. You're just very good at controlling conversations and moving the conversation around to your whim, which is great, but it does mean that you are the queen of deflection, and all you want to do is tell a good story rather than actually connect with people." And I was like, "Shut up." Shut up.
I think that's what it is. You're better at storytelling, which is why I, instead of immediately going to stories, like to go into open-ended questions. Because I like it when we're all discussing a thing, whether that be how to escape a zoo or just your stance on a particular video game that came out or whatever. Like, I love that where we're all giving a lot of thoughts on something, because there's nothing I hate more than small talk.
Yeah.
It's so fucking frustrating.
Same here. That's the thing. We all have our little like coping mechanisms in conversations. Yours is open-ended questions and mine is stories. It's so interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you learn a lot about a person from how they respond to big open-ended questions like that in a good way.
I mean, when you asked if you're an animal, like which animal would you be to escape a zoo at first, I was like, what a stupid question. But then I got really into it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun question.
Yeah.
Email us at
ratingdescending@gmail.com.
My choice was meerkat.
And I agree with that.
Yeah, you just need a couple meerkats on your side to make a ladder, and you're fucking home free.
And again, you really need to think about the enclosure that you're in. It's like, yeah, you're a butterfly, you can fly everywhere, but you're literally in a glass casing, so you can't fly away.
Yeah, exactly.
But a meerkat, if you're self-aware enough, you can bust out of that pen. You can.
The gorillas, they're fucking watching the gorillas. That'll be an absolute physical health hazard nightmare if they escape.
Yeah.
Meerkat, they're like, oh no, the meerkat's escaped. Well, no one's going to get hurt, so it's not red alert. It's orange, yellow maybe.
Agreed. And also there's so many meerkats, you won't notice it instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Gorillas, you've got like 2 or 3. You'll notice when they're gone. They've got names, they've got personalities. Little meerkats, there's like 30 of them in one pen. You'll never notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Never notice. They'll just be like, oh, they're sleeping.
At the end of the night, they'll be like Candy, Raymond, Bobby G.
G.
Where's Desmond? And then I, as Desmond, am fucking running away.
And I'm Candy following behind.
Well, I mean, they've already counted you.
Candy, the other Candy.
Oh, there's 2 candies.
Candy M. Yeah.
Candy G and Candy M.
This week, we watched 50 Shades Freed.
Hell yeah.
The 3rd installment of the 50 Shades trilogy. We're back, baby.
It's the
Did you listen to our last episode, 50 Shades Darker? Because it's about to get freed.
Yeah, this was 50 Shades Freed, the final fucking, which... And boy, did they not deliver on the fucking. It's really, it's maybe the least sexy movie I can think of.
Yeah. I think we agreed that there was one sexy sex scene, and it was because they were both enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it looked like normal people having sex.
Because it was casual.
Yeah.
They were kind of goofing around a little bit.
Licking ice cream off each other. You're like, oh, they're connecting.
They smiled.
Yeah, they laughed.
It wasn't 2 seconds of him eating her out and then missionary and then they're done.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Literally the worst sex. This week we did 50 Shades Freed, and it was bizarre. Mm-hmm. It was silly. It wasn't sexy.
No.
It was somehow less sexy than 50 Shades Darker. I feel like there was more sex in 50 Shades Darker.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think 50 Shades of Grey had...
I think it had the most sex time on screen.
I think it had the most sex time, and I think 50 Shades Darker had the most instances of sex.
Yeah, whereas 50 Shades Freed was just a lot of them holidaying, talking, fighting.
It was just a bunch of wealthy white people having a trip and not getting along. And then one guy's really angry.
Yeah. I'm going to go straight into the overview so I can remind you of the bizarre, silly happenings of 50 Shades Freed.
Fucking hell.
Overview. Christian and Anna get married. Their decadent honeymoon is cut short after Jack Hyde breaks into Christian's home. Christian surprises Anna with a new house and has hired an attractive architect, Gia, to rebuild it. Gia openly flirts with Christian, and Anna threatens to fire her. Anna defies Christian and goes for a drink with her friend Kate. Returning home, she is attacked by Jack. Anna's new personal security team subdue and arrest him. Christian is annoyed that Anna went out, and Anna demands more freedom. Christian surprises Anna with a trip to Aspen. They bring their friends. Nothing much happens, except some vanilla sex on a kitchen table. Vanilla sex, am I right? Ice cream.
Yeah.
No, vanilla ice cream.
Uh-huh.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
No, I got
Did
it.
you laugh? You want to laugh? You want to...
Haha! All right, cut that in.
I know. It was good. Anna realizes she's pregnant. Christian gets pissed and goes on a drunken bender, visiting Elena, his former abuser, for advice. Anna discovers this, and she and Christian have a big fight. Anna goes to work and is called by Jack. He has taken Mia, Christian's sister, hostage and demands a $5 million ransom. Anna negotiates money out of the bank and Christian catches on to the plot. During the drop-off, Hyde kicks Anna in the stomach and Anna shoots Jack in the leg with a gun Christian owns. Christian and his security team track down and rescue Anna, and Jack is arrested. Anna blacks out. Christian and Anna reconcile in the hospital and they keep the baby. Later down the road, they have a second kid and they're happily ever after. And that's the plot. And I wrote that completely because I had to just piece something together.
Well, God, I forgot how aggressively stupid it really was.
Yeah.
I think it has the same fundamental problem as 50 Shades Darker as it's not a story. A story is someone doing one sequence of events and then at the end they change.
Yeah.
This was a couple of things happen. It was just a bunch of sometimes seemingly unrelated events in which both of them have relationship problems.
What I enjoyed about watching this film is that we watched it with our good friend Will.
Yes.
And he was shocked, shout out to Will, he was shocked by how boring it all was. Like, he just didn't expect it to be so dull. And he was like, are these films usually so boring? And we were like, yes.
Guys, we're often under-exaggerating how boring and awful
we
these
don't know why we're doing this. We do it for you, all 7 of you. We love you.
Shout out to the 7.
Mwah! But yeah, and he was also stunned by how boring Anna was in particular. He couldn't fathom. We loved how ridiculous her dialogue was, because there'd be full scenes where she was like, thank you. Okay, nice to meet you. And they'd be like, wow, she's amazing. She's so sexy. The less she says, the more people love her, which I honestly think is just a very male view towards women.
Yes.
The less women say, the more attracted men are to them, and it's gross.
Mm-hmm. In turn, it makes other white women like her because she's liked by powerful men.
Yeah.
And we value that, even though we shouldn't.
I've definitely noticed, even in my own personal life, if I'm out on a night and I'm too cooked or drunk to say anything, people are more drawn to me because I'm mysterious and enigmatic, but really my brain is just fried.
I've never had that happen to me, so I can't speak to the truthfulness of your statement. But, you know, maybe I just give off angry vibes.
Sometimes you do.
Okay.
And that's okay.
That's interesting.
It's okay to be angry.
Okay.
I'm angry all the time, and then I just pick up this glass and I fully smash it against the wall.
What
would you do? What would you do?
I'd be upset. I like that glass.
It's a good glass. It's gone now.
I'd be concerned. Is your hand okay?
It's bleeding, fully bleeding.
I'd also be frustrated because I'm like, you didn't have to do that, and we're kind of in the middle of something right now.
What are we doing now? Where are we?
The podcast!
Who am I? What year is it?
Abby, hey.
Oh my God.
Hey. Hey. Aww.
I'm back.
Hey, come on. Fucking focus. Okay, is there anyone in this movie that you would sleep with? Because for a fuck movie, my answer is probably no.
Great question. I mean, they're also white and bland.
They are very bland.
I can't think of anybody. No, honestly, except there was a little surprise appearance, and his name is like something like Tyler Hoechlin. And he was the kid from Road to Perdition.
Okay.
And he fucking killed in that movie. And he had a minor scene in the movie where he made Christian jealous because he was in the presence of Anna.
Wasn't he the security guard or something?
He was just a dude that Anna worked with. He was there for a scene. And I was like, oh, it's the kid from Road to Perdition. He's hunky.
Okay.
I'd have sex with him, but only because he was barely in the movie.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to have a chance to understand his character.
Yeah.
But otherwise, fuck no. Everyone's terrible and boring and white, and it's the worst. It's the least sexy movie I've ever seen. What about you?
See, I hate the way that celebrity personality works because I find myself wanting to defend Anastasia Steele because I like Dakota Johnson.
You got to leave her out of this.
But Anastasia Steele is awful and nothing, and I wouldn't care for her at all. No. I don't know. Rita Ora's character seemed fun.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, not really. None of them. They're all terrible.
My problem is that Rita Ora isn't really my type either.
Not mine. I was
she
just
also
trying to think
doesn't
of
really have a character in it.
Who was the other? There were 2 security guards. There was the guy, and then there's the woman. What did the woman look like?
She looked like a mum of 2. Yeah, she was no.
I don't know. No, I wouldn't. It was not a very sexy movie.
No, not at all.
Unlike what I promised last week, I did not get juicy.
You didn't get juicy.
No, not even.
No, which is weird because I saw you pour a whole bottle of apple juice over yourself, but I think you just do that for recreation. Is that right?
Yeah, I would describe that more as sticky than juicy, even though it is juice.
It's juicy at the time and it turns into sticky. And I get that. You love that. You love the transition. It's daring, it's thrilling, it's fun.
Because I love that feeling when you slap yourself against a wall and you hear that. Yeah.
You're just like sticking to things.
Love
and that's
being
fine.
sticky.
That's valid. I'm not kink shaming. This is a safe place.
I can jump on someone's back like a piggyback, but then they find it much harder to get me off.
Yeah, it's funny that you love stickiness because I love feeling like sandpaper.
Oh.
Which is why sometimes, when I'm all alone, when the house is empty, I'll just buy a bunch of sandpaper and glue it to myself for the night, and then I'll just rub on things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that why the walls look freshly sanded?
Yeah, that's why my bed is pretty much just being drilled into over time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because Brooke has told me she likes being really slippery. She greases herself up.
Oh, we should hang out one time. We should collab.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just rub up against each other.
Sticky, rough, and slippery.
That's it. That's us. You're sticky, I'm rough, she's slippery. Are we the three dwarves? Of sleet black, not Snow White.
Yeah,
this is the parallel universe.
Yeah, whereas everything's going to be opposite, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. So we're actually three giants.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are.
We are. We are all very tall people.
We are.
Nice.
There were so many of the instances in this film that kind of didn't really go anywhere. Our favorite was the whole scene with the architect who seemed unnecessarily aggressive, and then Anastasia Steele responded by being unnecessarily aggressive back, and that was the end of that storyline.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so great.
But then
that bit was amazing. Like, I don't know how far we can go into the plot because, again, it's like what we said last time, and this is exciting because I think this is the first film where we've gone back to a franchise after some time. Like we said in the last one, it is just a series of moments loosely bound together in some kind of heavy quotation marks story. And it's not satisfying. It's not complete. It's just like, here's their journey from being married. The film starts with them just getting married, just having a wedding. And I thought that would be the build-up of the whole film.
Yeah, they get
just
married now.
And then it's just things about them being married afterwards. Jack Hyde wants to kill them for whatever the fuck reason, and it's super laughable. They have sex, they fight, and then Anna gets pregnant, and she's like, I want to keep it. And Christian is a dick about it, but then he accepts it after she almost dies, and that's kind of the whole film.
He is a dick about it, and he, in this movie, continues my exact criticism of the last two, which is he is a billionaire. Billionaires think they are kings, and he acts like he is a king and that Anastasia is not his queen, but a commoner that he is being generous to.
Yeah.
And so when she gets pregnant, he assumes that whatever his opinion is will be what she's going to do because he's a bad person who doesn't deserve any of the good things he gets.
He is a really bad person. And like, the whole film, I'll go into this a bit later, but the whole film is trying to prove that like now their relationship becomes equal and she's not just a sub anymore. She is his equal wife.
Well, notably, the very last shot is they're about to have sex again, and Anastasia is in a subbing position, but then he comments, "It seems like you're topping from the bottom," and then she smirks, and then it cuts to black, and that's the end.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, well, I'm still subbing, but I'm like confident about it now. The end. It was so silly.
So very silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it should have ended with her eating him and declaring revolution in the United States.
No, it ends with them doing their kink, which is that he pours apple juice on himself and she puts sandpaper all over her body. And that's the end. It's a full circle, whatever the fuck. She started in a hardware store, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows what she was doing with that sandpaper?
It's such a weird leap.
Shut up. I know what I'm saying.
Our favorite bit was when she started driving. What was it? She got a chance to drive the car, and Christian was in it, right? He was in it, right?
Yeah. And then they realize they're getting followed.
They're getting
he's
followed.
Like, lose them.
They've got to lose the person following them, and she just starts driving like a professional driver, like weaving in and out of traffic underneath a truck. She
starts in the country and gets all the way into Seattle.
Yeah.
So now she's just in the middle of the city. And yeah, she's doing the most daring, dangerous shit.
Yeah.
If you saw someone on the road, you'd be like, hey, honey, call the police. That person is just going to cause an accident.
Yeah. Very illegal. But what are they going to do? Fine them? He can afford it. Fines are only crimes for the poor. That's my new little sound tag that I'll...
No, that's our new merch shirt coming out this Monday. Pre-orders are open now. Email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com and we will not respond.
I've responded to most
Aw,
emails.
That's nice. Oh, yeah. Shout out to the people who have sent emails. Again,
Yeah.
all 7 of you. Mwah. You're all
Well,
great.
3. It's Javia, Joe, and Luke.
Oh, nice. 3.
Yeah, it's just this movie. I don't know. It somehow took the weirdest turn in every decision and still ended up being boring.
Yeah. It was direly boring. I think our favorite line was in that race car sequence bit, or not race car. Our favorite line was in the car sequence bit where she's driving and then she goes, I'm a race car driver. We lost our shit at that line. It was so stupid. And then the best bit is that when they lose him, she's so turned on by the adrenaline rush, she just reaches into Christian's pants, starts tugging him off, and then she gets on top of him and they have 20 seconds worth of sex and she comes on top of him.
Yeah.
And I was there like, no.
She did not come that quickly.
She didn't. No woman comes that. No woman comes. Okay? It's all a myth.
Have you not yet found the Church of Our Lord, the female orgasm?
Is that the new name for the G spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot.
No, I think this spot is more of a J spot because it's for Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, that's hot. No, it's just Jesus with a G.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Stand up for Jesus.
He's just a man made of butter, but not butter.
What?
Weird butter. You know, ghee?
Oh,
What is ghee again?
it's clarified butter.
Yeah, that.
You boil it to get out all the milk solids.
Yeah. That's Jesus. He's clarified Jesus.
Well, I guess
Keep that. Keep that in.
That'd be Indian Jesus, right?
That's racist.
Well,
Isn't it?
Ghee
Isn't
is. All right.
There's no such thing as an Indian, and there's no such thing as
What?
a G spot. So don't be racist.
Okay. So Abby's one of those. We're getting a replacement host as soon as next week.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah, I can't.
Ooh, this wine's making me drunk. I guess that's the point.
That's the idea.
I'd be
of
disappointed if it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the whole thing with Jack Hyde?
Jack Hyde's wild.
Jack Hyde is wild. We find out at the end that the whole reason that he's so angry at Christian is because he was from the same foster home, but then Christian got adopted by rich people and Jack didn't. Which is weird because I feel like that is could be an interesting statement on how generational wealth is important to your current circumstances.
They made like the essence of a point about classism and how if he had Jack's life, he wouldn't be the person he is today. And I was like, that's so funny because you're still kind of both terrible in your own ways.
Yeah.
You're a sadist that has abused a lot of women, and Jack Hyde is also a sadist that abused a lot of women and then also tried to kill you.
But they still stigmatize him, but as if like, oh, he's jealous. Well, all poor people are jealous.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
I told you, it's just a film about materialism.
Yeah.
This is a class that none of us will belong to. This is why people watch it. He is like, hey, Anna, surprise, me and all of your 8 friends are going to Aspen for the weekend because we can, and we're going to stay in a luxurious place and take a bath together.
Yeah.
No one can afford that. We watch that film so we can fantasize about doing that as well.
Again, billionaires and their friends are kings and nobles. We have just replaced the royalty system with billionaires.
As we said last time, we talked about 50 Shades, eat the rich.
Yeah.
Fucking eat them.
Yeah.
They should be the first to die. Christian fucking Grey.
All the French had to do was
to be the
stop
first to die.
believing in the divine right of kings. We just need to stop believing that they're worth more of a unit of person than one person.
Correct.
That's it.
I've realized this year how little value I do have, like, around money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about it. When I have money, I spend it. When I don't have money, I don't care. I know that money comes and goes.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful to have been born that way because it means I can value other things. But when I meet someone and they clearly care about how much money they have in their pocket, you can feel it, and it's not nice. They're generally not nice, warm people. They are...
If they're above a certain threshold of money.
Correct. But I can't relate to people that value money so highly.
Yeah. I think about all the time, now that I have more money, like a comfortable amount, I think all the time about how much when I had a lot less money, how much I appreciated the little things that people did. Like, oh, I'll pay for this lunch, or like, here, have this thing. Just like a little thing. And for one thing, that's a great statement of the power of community. And it makes me want to go like, well, I'll pay for this lunch because then we're all happy and it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Spend that on more stupid shit for myself? Doesn't matter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Money comes and goes. And I don't care if you have a lot of it or a very little of it. That does not matter.
Yeah.
But you know, if you do have a lot of money, just hit me up. My number is 04-602.
If you'd like to change how much money we have, email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com with how much more you want to
support me on OnlyFans. I'm ready.
You don't even post anything. It's just a page. Subscribe for $12.
Give me your fucking money. That's my tagline in OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a photo of me pointing a gun at you. At you, Michelle. This bitch is gonna die if you don't subscribe for $15 a month.
So it's really a Save Michelle fund.
Yeah.
Okay, please
Petition
subscribe.
to Save Michelle. Crowdfunding. I won't blow her brains out if you get to 20K by the end of the month. Thanks, guys.
There's a lot that is illegal about this and I don't agree with, but I can't fight back. So
yeah,
please.
That's it. But again, let me reiterate, I don't care about money, but if I have it, I'd like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't turn down getting more.
Yeah, I wouldn't snub my nose at a bit of money.
Yeah. Well, especially because then you could share it more with the people around you. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Point being, they do a weird thing with Jack's storyline. And also, the other thing I was going to say, like, they make it go like, oh, he's jealous of Christian because Christian's a billionaire because he had wealthy parents. Jack was also the editor at a publishing company. Like, he wasn't not wealthy, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know that there's a massive cavern between a 200K a year job and a billionaire, like an infinitesimal chasm. But he's still well off. Like, he's doing fine. I don't know. I know he's not now because he got fired, but...
Also, let's just talk about, once again, we've had to touch on this again. It's all the same points as last time, just a bit different. Christian is so abusive. This goes out to anyone that has watched the film and they don't think that there's an issue with this relationship. There is an issue with this relationship.
Yeah.
I'm at a phase in my life where I think relationships are kind of gross a lot of the time, mainly because I watch a lot of straight relationships where one partner is like emotionally abusive, but they don't realize it.
Yeah.
It's so common. And also I hate the idea of being dependent on someone else because of my own personal issues, but whatever, we'll get to that later. We will get to that later. However, a lot of people don't realize just how fucked up a lot of relationships can be in this way. And that, for instance, here's a great example, and this is a very dramatized, enormous example. It's a huge red flag. If people watch this and don't think it's an issue, that's wild. At the beginning of the film, it's a whole montage of their decadent honeymoon away together. They're in Europe, they're having fun. Then they are at a resort, they're on a tropical island, and they're by a pool. And Anna, he's like, Anna, you're too exposed. Like, everyone's ogling you already. Ogling. Is that like a little baby ogre? A little ogling?
Yeah.
Everyone's ogling her, and he's just like, oh, cover up. And so when he leaves, she just takes her bra fully off.
Yeah.
And I love that.
It's in France, right? It's a French beach.
Yeah.
It's really topless, though. I went to Italy, and everyone's like, it's not the same stigmatized.
She defies him, and when he leaves, she takes her top off, and he comes back, and she's passed out, and she's like, her titties are fully out.
Yeah.
And he's so angry about it. He like throws a shirt on her, being like, cover up. The idea that your body, your boyfriend thinks he owns your body, and that only he can look at it is so gross.
It's really gross. He doesn't own her.
He doesn't own her.
Even though they're married, she can still do whatever she wants.
However, he treats her as if she is property.
Yeah.
That she has no agency, that he calls the shots about how she acts. It's disgusting. And I feel like there's a lot of people in that audience that were just like, I wish I had a boyfriend that was so jealous and possesses of me. Wow, I couldn't say that. I wish I had a boyfriend that was so jealous and possessive of me. No.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it's about. That is not love. You are mistaking love for someone thinking that they own you. It's not the same thing.
If your partner acts like really either of them, you need to have a more open and honest communication style with your partner so that you can talk about how you feel about each other's bodies and sense of self.
Correct. And like, to be honest, in no world is it okay for Christian to say, hey, I'm uncomfortable when you expose your body, because that's weird.
Yeah.
But I also think that even if he had approached it in a kinder way, it would be fine. Even if he said, oh, I feel a bit uncomfortable about it because of this and this and this, that's healthier.
Yeah.
If you acknowledge how you're feeling in a calm, nice way instead of being aggressive and demanding that your girlfriend do a certain thing for you, gross.
Yeah.
Big gross.
I feel like that conversation could have gone with him still having that apprehension going like, oh, hey, I don't really feel comfortable with you exposing your body like that because I don't want other people looking at my girl that way. And she could say, well, I'm my own person and I really want to do this to feel comfortable and open in this space where I'm allowed to be.
Correct.
Unlike at home. And then he can go, well, I'm still uncomfortable about it, but it sounds like it's more about me than it is about you. I'll work on getting the fuck over it.
Exactly.
Like, he doesn't even have to suddenly be okay with it. He can just realize that it's his own fucking issue.
And it's the perfect example. Christian Grey and Anastasia fucking Steele are the great example of a straight relationship and what we think is the ideal straight relationship gone completely wrong. It is full of materialism. It is full of white privilege as well. And it is full of two people that are jealous, possessive, and insane over one another and calling that love and calling that and them solving their problems through money and not actually communicating and connecting properly. She says, Christian, I'm pregnant. And he said, why the fuck are you pregnant? I'm so angry at you. As if she was the only person that caused the issue. As if she was the only contributing factor to the baby that was now growing in her body. It made me so angry.
It was his little jizzy boys that made it happen.
Yeah, get your jizzy boys out of her womb, motherfucker.
You don't want to get her pregnant. You can do something about that, man.
What's also weird about it is that she didn't want to be pregnant either. And we were all like, you can get an abortion.
This is a readily solved problem.
You can do that. You should do that. But she was like, oh my God, I don't want to have to do it, but it's happened and it's here and I'm going to love this baby. And you're like, what? But either way, the fact that he just then also blamed her for the baby that he put inside of her was gross and weird and disgusting.
Yeah.
And also at the end, there was that bit where, oh my God, I had another abusive thing that I wanted to point out. So many of them. I
feel like we haven't been as funny about this movie because we're angry about it.
Yeah.
And we should be angry at this movie. This movie is fucking stupid. I hate it.
Yeah, again, if you have watched this film and you don't think that it's an issue and you think it's romantic, there's something wrong with your notion of romance.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with it. A relationship should be two complete, whole, happy individuals that come together, respect each other, communicate openly, and are happy together. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't own each other.
And there's different styles of being, right? Like in the West, we tend to value individualism more than collectivism. And you can prioritize being, say, a family unit more than just being your own person. And that's fine. But that's different than just being in a one-to-one relationship, right? Like when you're interacting with two people, you still need to have a sense of self. It's just you might value where your self fits in the whole.
Yeah.
And that's very different than what we're talking about in terms of abusive relationships.
100%. I'll be honest. The reason I am so afraid of relationships is that I lose myself in relationships. I like being my own individual person. And relationships require compromise and patience and commitment. And sometimes those are things that I'm not necessarily ready for. Yeah. And that's fine. We should also, this is a separate conversation, but we as a society should stop seeing relationships as successful. You're not successful because you're in a relationship. I was thinking about how my friend joked the other day that I don't have any luck in dating online, but what they meant is that I'm not in a relationship. And that's not luck to me. Yeah. I'm not unlucky because I'm still single. I have chosen to still be single. Yeah. I'm still single for a reason.
Having been your housemate through the whole time, you've been pretty lucky with online dating.
I have. And I have chosen to remain single because it makes me happier.
That's great.
Yeah. And again, this is just a completely different different conversation. But as a society, just because you can find someone that tolerates you doesn't mean that you're more successful as a person.
Now, that's something that I had to learn, which is why I really like the relationship I'm in now. Yeah. Is that I'm like, oh, they don't have to just be okay with me continuing to exist and tolerate me. They should actually like me.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's wild. Holy shit.
Also, I think that you as a person, you're happier in a relationship. You flourish more. You find comfort and solace in it. And that's totally fine. Relationships still work. But a lot of us get into relationships for entirely the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Like Anastasia and Christian.
Yeah.
Just going back.
Well, Anastasia didn't want to be... It feels like she's the most reluctant participant.
Oh, the whole time.
In this whole thing. And not in a Campbellian, refusing the call sort of way. In a real doesn't want to be in a relationship with Christian Grey.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're married.
It's actually just Dakota Johnson crying out for help in every take. It's not an Anastasia thing, it's a Dakota thing. Okay. Guess I'll do it again. Also, let's talk about the sex.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. Let's talk about sex,
Baby.
baby. Let's talk about you
And me.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex.
You sing a lot on this podcast. More than other podcasts I listen to.
No, we don't. You're completely exaggerating. I've never sung a single song in my whole life. No, we don't. I don't know what you were talking about.
We're just doing this bit again where I'm trying to communicate to you and you sing over me.
It's my favorite bit.
So you're Christian Grey. I'm Anastasia.
There wasn't that much sex. Again, most of the sex they had was just very boring, normal, vanilla sex. They had sex in a car.
Very unhorny
on a table.
as a movie.
Like, okay, let's go over what like sex toys did they use? Apart from handcuffs in one scene, did they use sex toys at all?
I don't think they used any sex. They, at the very least, they tried to introduce some in the last movie.
Yeah.
In a very unsexy way, but they introduced some.
Again, it was still missionary and eating her out.
Yeah. But this, I don't think, had any... Well, she has a blindfold at the end.
Yeah, he puts a blindfold on her.
If that counts.
And then she has a blindfold and he puts her up against a wall and then he is emotionally abusive and she says the safe word.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? She comes back and he's angry at her because she went out with friend. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she went out with a friend, got home, got attacked by Jack Hyde, and he was angry at her for defying him. Again, so abusive.
Yeah.
Your partner has just been held hostage by an attacker, and you're still angry at her for going out to have a drink with her friend. So abusive.
If the movie did anything right, it was that Anastasia was mad at him doing that. Because she should be. Because that's the 100% the wrong place to work out your issues with your partner.
Definitely. He puts a blindfold on her, straps her to like a wall, and then he starts like putting a vibrator on her clit, and then he's just like teasing her, and
but
he's
then
basically
he pulls
telling
it
her
away
off.
And says, see how I'm being withholding? You're being withholding.
See what it feels like when I defy you? And she's
Yeah.
like, safe word, that's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Which was super fair. So the one time that they were actually kinky, he was emotionally abusive and she had to stop. Hot. That's so hot.
I think my biggest complaint about this movie is he didn't say my favorite line that occurred almost word for word in both the first and second one, which is at some point she refers to him as a dominant and he says, technically I'm not a dominant, I'm a sadist. Which there's just really a lot to unpack. And I was looking forward to him weirdly and awkwardly explaining the technicalities of of language.
So stupid. Yeah, there was that one time that they had sex and he handcuffed her hands to her ankles, like both separately. And then he just kind of like kisses her and she's writhing. She is ready. And then they fucking missionary. And they both do a big cum. And that's the end of that kinky sex again.
Yeah.
So bad.
I don't think they use any sex toys in this apart from that and a little bit of ice cream.
Also, part of me doesn't quite understand why people do gel sexiness into movies. Like, I go to movies to be entertained, not turned on. We have literally a complete category of film that will make us turned on, easily accessible via the internet. Why gel the things? Why not just keep them separate?
Well, that's why I'm bigger fans of different things, because sometimes you want to show characters having sex because you want to show how they're connecting.
Yes.
You can have that romantic, like in Out of Sight.
It's not what I'm meaning. Like,
no,
you can have
I know,
sex in films. That's fine.
But it might still be horny. It's just coming from a place of intimacy. And I think that can be valid. And I think that's often misused.
But also, like, when you think about 50 Shades Freed, right? That's a really famous franchise, which is known for having a lot of kinky sex, heavy quotation marks once more, because it's not. And people go watch it because they're like, oh, I want to be turned on and watch a movie. But also the story element of it sucks because you can't really have a good raunchy film. It takes up too much time.
I think it's partly...
It interrupts the story.
I think it's partly because we pathologize porn as bad for women and acceptable for men, but only if they don't pay for it and it's abusive. And then we make it seem like it's weird if we pay sex workers for porn or intimacy.
That's where the raunchy film lies.
Yeah.
It's literally content for women because women can't watch porn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They'll only watch a sexy film.
There are a lot of avenues where it's possible. It's just we pathologize them because sex is seen as bad.
Yeah.
And if we just communicated more about it as socially, then we'd probably have less movies that are horny and different avenues that are just as horny.
Yeah. Instead of watching 50 Shades, just like, how about you support a local sex worker, go online, go to OnlyFans, pay for some good content, have a great time.
Hell yeah.
Do that.
Nice.
Don't watch these fucking films because you're contributing to a really toxic franchise and you're contributing to the sexism of the entire process around it, of women don't like sex, so we'll make an intimate, sexy film about two people slowly falling in love via sex.
Yeah.
But it's a bit kinky.
It's
Fuck
so weird.
you everywhere.
And you're right in that, like, fucking for fucking's sake on film is not always great. As a big fan of Game of Thrones throughout all 8 seasons, the sex scenes were probably the worst part of the whole show.
Oh my God.
Pretty consistently.
We completely, like, we were like, just cut out the sex scene. This show doesn't need sex scenes. They would try and make it a plot point by, like, them having a conversation while fucking.
What was
like,
the...
there's Theon fucking that prostitute in a boat.
Sexposition. That was the term.
It's
that they coined.
sexposition, yeah. Because they'll be having sex. He was, like, doing a doggy in a boat, and he's talking about how he's going to be king of the Pike Islands, and you're like, fuck off. Don't show me this woman's titties and then try and explain a plot element around it. Fuck you, all the male writers on this show.
Yeah.
You're disgusting.
You just cut it out.
Cut it out.
We did one time. We were rewatching season 5 and we just skipped every sex scene.
And
Guess
it made
what?
no difference.
Just as good.
No, yeah.
Arguably better. Because
Yeah.
I didn't occasionally have scenes that I was just like, no, I'm going to mentally check out.
Yeah. Or like scenes where I'm like, I feel uncomfortable as a woman. I feel attacked as a woman.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Game of Thrones. But also, you know, you aren't that bad. You're good. You're a good show.
Yeah.
Good show.
I liked the show. I just don't like how attacking women is used as a plot device to generate interest.
I will never
it's not
forgive that
interesting,
show.
It's upsetting.
Exactly. And I will never forgive that show for having the rape scene with Sansa.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Unnecessary, triggering, gross.
Yeah.
Stop raping women for plot.
Yeah.
Stop it. You, specifically, Michelle. Stop it. Stop it.
Sorry.
No. You wrote like all seasons of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
did.
Yeah.
Well, no. They brought me on as the consultant for sexual aggression.
The rape consultant of them being like,
I
is this
really-
great? And you're like, it's fantastic.
I didn't want to bring in...
This is great. Let's exploit women's trauma to make a really male point of view plot around it. Oh my God. Sansa's getting raped. Isn't it so upsetting for Theon watching? Oh. Anyway, this wine has made me very feminist and very aggressive, and I like
Your
it.
natural state.
Shut up.
What's the trivia?
Oh, baby, do you want some trivia?
I would love some
Oh,
trivia.
I got some trivia for you. You ready? Well, I've got four bits of trivia.
Okay, 4 still good.
It's a very boring franchise.
Inside and out.
Surprise, yeah. The cover for 50 Shades Freed, this is actually what I was going to touch on earlier. The cover for 50 Shades Freed is the exact opposite of 50 Shades of Grey. For the first movie cover, Anastasia is the one with her arms up, while Christian is the one about to kiss her. For this movie cover, Christian is the one with his arms up, while Anastasia is about to kiss him. And that's meant to refer to the fact that now he is an emotional submissive in their relationship. Now she is taking control. Which is funny because really she is still getting emotionally abused by a man.
Yeah. This movie thinks it's doing a lot of things it really isn't.
100%. They're like, isn't it great? Like she's powerful now, but also he can totally tell her to not have dinner with her friend and that's okay.
So weird.
So weird. This movie is the shortest of the series. The runtime is 105 minutes. The second movie is 118 minutes. And the first is 130 minutes.
Wow.
Can you believe, it's so funny because I found this film insufferably long.
Yeah.
It went on for ages. We were all bored, but it was the shortest out of all 3 of them. I couldn't wrap my head around that.
It did feel short in the sense that it didn't really feel like much occurred and then it was just over.
Was that just because you were disassociating the whole time?
Hey, whoa now, slow it down there.
In the scene after Anastasia finds out she's pregnant, it's mentioned that Anna is 6 to 8 weeks pregnant. Based on the internal timeline of the movies, this means she probably got pregnant in the first movie. As such, she wouldn't have been on birth control. That doesn't matter. But the whole thing, the whole franchise spanned 8 weeks.
What?
8 weeks.
What?
They got married so quickly. Everything happens within the space of 2 months.
Them getting engaged in 8 weeks is weird They got engaged and then married
and then honeymooned
and then
got
bought a
attacked.
home?
Yeah.
What?
It also felt like that because I felt like every single day they were always running to something new and something cool and something extra. That means that like a lot of people say that in a relationship, the honeymoon period lasts between the first month and the fourth month. After the fourth month, it's done. You're settling into the relationship. You might still be in love, but it's not as exciting anymore. You're not so completely obsessed with the person. They are halfway through their honeymoon phase and they are already pregnant, have a home, have honeymooned, have gotten married.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Boy.
Which means, really, if we didn't see that last couple of scenes, they could have broken up in 2 months and we wouldn't be surprised.
You know what? Anastasia Steele is going to be Mackenzie Bezos and fucking divorce him and then just redistribute half his wealth.
Yes! There was talk that Jamie Dornan wouldn't reprise his role as Christian Grey. But those rumors were put to rest in 2015 when his agent stated he was devoted to the sequels. Now, I know that's not true because Jamie Dornan very loudly declared he didn't want to come back after the first one.
Yeah.
But then after he did, his agent was like, he loves it. It's great. We love the franchise. So whoever tried to do that cover up, great work. But
I forgot who the distributor was, but whoever they were definitely got angry about Jamie Dornan saying that, and his agent did damage control without Jamie.
Whilst Christian Grey is abusive, Jamie Dornan was trapped in an abusive contract with this whole franchise. Do you want to hear some reviews?
Yeah, I would love to hear the reviews.
So 50 Shades Freed grossed a worldwide total of 300... Shit, I already ruined it. I wanted you to guess. $371 million.
Whoa.
This was against a production budget of $55 million.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I feel like the first couple Twilight movies, they were all made for less money than we thought. And then, like, because $370 million is a lot of money. A lot of money. Especially, it is a lot of money for a $50 million movie. It's the kind of budget and return that Hollywood has been missing for a long time. And that's why they keep totally fucking up. But it's also not as much money as you'd kind of expect for 50 Shades of Grey, the cultural icon.
When you think about it, it is just over 7 times of its... Like, it profited 7 times of its budget, which is actually not that much in comparison. Like, I can't remember what movie it was, but a couple of weeks ago, we both realized that some bad movie we had watched had grossed 14 times its budget.
Yes.
Because it'd probably been made on, like, $5 million.
Well, there's even like, a Batman movie is like $100 million, and then it makes $1 billion, and that's 10 times as much. Like,
definitely. On review aggregation website, Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 12% and an average rating of just ignore that. Has a rating of 12% based on 181 reviews. The website's critical consensus reads, 50 Shades Freed brings its titillating trilogy to a clumsy conclusion, making for a film franchise that adds up to a distinctly dissatisfying menage a trois.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone's Peter Travers gave the film 0 out of 4, stating, with this 0 out of 4, with this last entry, we have officially hit the bottom of the barrel. Whips, chains, butt plugs, and nipple clips are nothing compared to the sheer torture of watching this movie. Robbie Collin of The Telegraph gave this film 1 out of 5 stars and wrote, this is a film in which one of the more emotionally detailed performances is given by a product placement Audi. Even the okay, so this is a review from Tara Brady, Irish Times. Even the likable stars, Jamie Sidegroin and Dakota Frontboob, can do nothing with material that has grown more tedious with each installment.
It's tedious. That's the main thing I would describe it as.
Jamie Sidegroin and Dakota Frontboob. So good. Also, I read that even Jamie Dornan was like, I feel uncomfortable that Dakota showed her tits all the time. I showed my tits, but it's not the same. Like, I love that he said that. He was like, what have I got to show there? It's just nipples on a man. This is a review left on IMDb, 10 out of 10 review, left by Young Erica 6522. Finally is the subject line of this review. I am just glad there is a Mrs. Grey and they have a family. Actually much better than the first 52 Shades. Wow. Actually much better than the first 2 50 Shades. But this was by far my favorite Freed message. : How to love a difficult man in these 50 Shades movies. Love finally conquered all. Yes, I actually watched this movie over and over. We all have dark secrets which can destroy us. Wounds that take time to heal. Someone to finally accept you as you are. True. Love. I admit, the movie wasn't perfect. 10 out of 10.
When the final line of a review is almost perfect, it can't be 10 out of 10. You've just admitted it's not 10 out of 10.
What a paradox of a review.
Oh, holy shit. You know when you got a lot of dark secrets, so you love 50 Shades Freed?
You know when you feel true. Love. Me too. It was such a silly film, super gross, super abusive.
Yeah.
This franchise is dumb, and we're going to have to return to it in like a year to do 50 Shades, the first one, which is the worst. Also, can I just mention, I can't believe I didn't mention this before, just some general info about this film, guys, which I should do at the beginning. It was made in 2018, had 4.6 on IMDb. The director was James Foley, who did Glengarry Glen Ross.
What?
Glengarry Glen Ross, the same man, directed this film. At this point, he's just doing it for the paycheck because he hasn't really directed that much recently, apart from 50 Shades Freed and 50 Shades Darker. Yeah. And obviously, Sam Taylor Johnson did the first one, which we will get to because she's a whole fucking problematic woman, I feel, who preyed on a 19-year-old boy. Anyway, not a fan. But yeah, this guy is Glengarry Glen Ross. Like, he is the director of that incredible, nuanced film. And he did this.
Yeah, that's so weird. I guess you could argue it's not directed badly. There's just nothing to direct. Like, it's not anything. It's
looks
a nothing
nice.
movie.
It always looks nice.
Yeah. Well, what's your rating then?
My rating... Oh, it was so boring. It was so stupid, but so boring. Look, I would watch it again just because it's dumb.
I wouldn't.
If I was drunk, I'd watch it again. I would give this a 3.8 3.5 out of 10. Just a bit
really
lower. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 2.3.
Ooh. You didn't like, I'm a race car driver enough.
Well, for me, 2 is my bottom threshold for it is like a movie. You know, because there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of room between 0 and 2 for things like The Room that really aren't anything.
Yeah.
It is still a movie. It's just not a story.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it 0.3 higher than the other things I've given to because there was moments that I laughed at, ironically, but still laughed at.
Yes.
As opposed to getting no enjoyment. But I would not watch this again. I really didn't like the experience of watching it.
Very fair. Well, Michelle, that was the third installment of 50 Shades, the franchise.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
Next week, we are watching Snatched.
Ooh, Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn.
Oh, boy. I don't know about that one.
Critically acclaimed.
I'm not excited.
Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn.